What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of the Undergrad Forum. Now, as you can see, I'm in a new place. I got a random guy sitting next to me. What's going on? Well, I got exciting news for you. Every day, you guys are really nice. You send me messages. Mo, I'm applying to residency programs. I'm in India. I'm in Saudi. I'm in Egypt. I'm in IMG. Can you help? And of course, I send you back emails. I send you back messages. We try to do the best we can. But the number one problem I really have when I'm trying to help you guys is figuring out what residency programs to apply to. And unfortunately, I've been telling you, Google and call, because I don't know. And this is where this guy comes in next to me. I got a random Facebook message from this guy. I don't know how he found me on Facebook. And he's like, by the way, I noticed you help a lot of IMGs. Why don't you try my website? It kind of helps them. So let me introduce this person next to me, Dr. Zach Musa. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Finally, after many years of watching your exciting videos, I got to sit with you now and discuss this very important topic.
All right. Well, you know, it's going to be an exciting discussion because we're going to answer a lot of questions today about how do you apply as an IMG, specific strategies, not no generic, oh, have a good board score, make sure you have good letters. Well, duh, everyone knows that. And of course, you're going to get the never biased and extremely unhumble opinion about what you should be doing as an IMG. So number one, you got to figure out what you want to apply to. Right now, it's September, ERAS is coming up, you got to pick what programs you want to apply to, and right now I'm helping a few students who are IMGs. And what I'm telling them, which is kind of unfortunate, is we've worked on, what kind of research should you do, who should you be talking to, and we can go into those details in a moment. But the biggest problem is they're like, well, how many programs should I apply to? Because it costs money. It's not like you get to pick for free. And I really just have been telling them, go online, find every single program for the specialty you're interested in, and then call them, email them, read the website, write everything down, and then try to figure out essentially what program is what's called IMG-friendly. Now what that means is, if you look in the past history of that program, they have taken residency applicants who are from an international medical graduate or like an IMG school. Now that's where a lot of the viewers come in. Now, Match a Resident, we're going to talk about how does that actually help in that super critical process. So Zach, tell us, what do you do? How do you help people with the platform?
First of all, it's the program that accept IMGs and program that already have IMGs. That's what we focus on. So the first question is whether the program have IMGs or if they consider IMGs if they don't have any currently.
Okay.
But we take other criteria like exam scores, step 1, step 2 CK, clinical experience, your graduation, citizenship, and all that into consideration. We generate a list for them in an instant, so they don't have to wait. It's like just registering, providing the information to their credentials to the system, and the list should be ready in the back end.
Okay, that's insane. Let me walk you through what he said, because that was kind of nerdy. All right, we're kind of normal people here as doctor. That was next level nerd. Okay, let's break this down to normal stuff. Number one, you got to pick schools, but you got to put in the variables that make you who you are. So you got to put in, okay, so I sit on the rank committee at my residency program, and I've even been on other residency program rank committees. My friends just kind of bring me in for fun. And what the number one thing we do, all right, guess. If I'm sitting there, we all sit in this big fancy board table, expensive room, they cater food, it's kind of fun. And they put up every single applicant who applied to our residency program. And how do you think they sort the applicants? By what variable do you think they start with?
The exam scores comes first.
Step 1 score. And do I think that's fair? No, it makes no sense at all. To rank people by step 1 is insane. It's like rank them by height. I get it. Step 1 score, you gotta do a good job, but that's the first thing we do. And then after that, people start looking at, okay, what was their step 2 score if there's a discrepancy or any kind of change? What school did they come from is the next variable after scores.
That's true.
And that's a problem, because if you're from a school that, the ranking committee is not familiar with, whether you're from China or India or somewhere else, there's a lot of lack of familiarity, and that's uncomfortable.
That is true. One of the things that we're building now in Match a Resident is to build something called MedLink, and is to link their medical school to candidates who are in our system already from that medical school. Because I noticed, for example, in one program that I did my sub-internship in Ohio, that they liked more candidates from AUC, for example.
Okay,
so I knew that if you're an AUC candidate, would have more chance. So for now, since this is a feature we're building, it's good to go to their school and ask them which programs have matched or at least interviewed candidates from their school. That helps a lot in the application.
And that's the key. I have no way of knowing that data. How do I know Ohio likes, what does AUC stand for? American University?
American University of the Caribbean.
Caribbean. How am I supposed to know Ohio likes AUC? You gotta have insider trading knowledge.
Exactly.
And the problem is, you could try to call your friend and get it, but the concept again is, we gotta take your application variables and put them together and figure out what kind of applicant are you, and then try to figure out what school should you be applying to. And that's where this comes in, and that's why I like it so much. I spend hours trying to get your application to look good, but then we say, okay, we know your step scores, we know what school you went to, the two things that rank committees look at first. You already have your letters of recommendation. They have variable strength, high, medium, low. You may have done externship or aways, and some schools may know you. And those are really all the major variables we're gonna take to put into, in our heads of what do we apply to. And I say in our heads because we never had algorithms before. Literally, a month ago, I'm helping someone and I'm like, well, let's see who to apply to. I'm kind of using clinical intuition. And it's silly. So now what you do is you type in, what's my step scores? Where did I go to medical school? What residency am I interested in? And then from there, you literally get a list. This is insane. It's like Amazon or something. You hit send, and then you get a list of schools you should apply to. And I played with the platform. I know a lot about IM programs, and I played with it, and it was very accurate. I created a traditional IMG applicant that I advise. And I put in their variables, and we hit submit, and it told us very clearly, here's all the schools, and you can sort them. What state are you interested in, or whatever. But the more interesting filtering is, which is relevant to the IMG base, is I'm an IMG, and I want to go to schools that take IMGs. And then you've narrowed your list tremendously. And then from there, you can click on each school and get all the data that previously I just tell people, go call the schools or go read online to figure out. And then, that's insane. We took what used to be a couple weeks of active work into 2 minutes or something.
Yeah, actually it took me a month and a half back in 2004.
To
call the programs when I should have been doing more important work like the personal statement, writing, gathering a good recommendation letters and all this. So many things.
True.
Preparing an application for residency is an art. It's an art of convincing the program that you are the right candidate for that position. So there's so much work you need to put in the application and less time calling the programs and trying to gather.
You're wasting time. So now let's talk about, okay, you decided, you know what, let me try to get a list of schools I want to apply to. I'm going to plug in my data and I'm going to hit calculate and I'm going to get a list of schools that I should apply to. Now miraculously, you have what I call a focus list. You know where to lock your eyes on, you think about that list very carefully, and then you could even go into more research if you wanted to, call your friends that maybe know a connection at that school and say, hey, is there some way I could maybe do an extra internship? Is there some way I can reach out to the PD? Is there some way I can sell myself to this focused program that we know takes IMGs? And that's the big advantage. I didn't know about Match Your Resident more than a couple weeks ago. Before that, we had no advantage. Now we do. And that's a game changer.
There's a lot of programs also that offer sub-internships. The Match Your Resident can help if that program have IMGs, then it's easier to get into the committee and build that relationship for the future. So it helps in many different ways. It's not only for the application beginning of the season kind of thing, but it works before. But again, we have a lot more talk about what should we do in the future.
So I'm a US grad. I went to medical school in California. I did my internship in California. I'm doing my residency in California. I just matched into fellowship in California. There's a trend there. We have the ocean. But then I happen to also work because I'm on the admissions committee. I sit on ranking committees. And also I just have a lot of IMG experience now over the years. So my experience in having someone who's done it, I want to give you as much advice as we can, and hopefully I get a little bit less emails, all right, about how to actually get in as an IMG. So number one, let's talk about things that if you have a little bit of time to work on, say you're applying in a couple months or you watch this video before you're going to apply. Number one thing you got to care about is your scores. There's no question. If you have the ability to devote more time into step 1, into step 2 CS, and into step 2 CK, absolutely do it. That is the highest return on your investment of time. If you can get a better score, your game opens up. Now, what a lot of people don't talk about is the value of step 3. Now, that's like my secret advantage. Now, if you think about it, you take step 1 after your second year of medical school. You take step 2, CS and CK, kind of strategically during your third year, so that you can apply to residency during your fourth year, beginning of it. Now, the thinking there is, okay, applicants who apply have a step 1, a step 2 CS, and a step 2 CK. Nobody has a step 3 as a US applicant, that is. Now, the reason is, to be able to take step 3, you traditionally take it during your intern year, after graduating medical school. And that's actually the only requirement to be able to sit for step 3 is have graduated and earned your MD degree. Now, this is where I think it's a real advantage for IMGs. You have time, take the time to take step 3 and get it over with. And here's why. Program directors during your intern year have one big worry. Number 1, they want to make sure on a basic level, you show up, you do your work, you leave. Okay, whatever. That's just basic intern year. But the one big worry they have is this person going to pass step 3? Because if you don't pass step 3, you can't get your medical license, and you also can't graduate intern year. You can technically do it in some weird areas, but let's just make it black and white. You can't graduate intern year easily, and that's a headache.
That's true.
So from a program director's perspective, if you're an applicant, right, say it's you applying, you got your step 1 score in, you got your step 2 CS and CK, and you got step 3, man, this guy just gave me the whole package.
You're ready.
Right?
Exactly.
You took away the liability. And that's the biggest word. I hate to kind of use it because it's negative, the word liability, but I want to share what's really going on behind the scenes. And this is not everyone, and of course, you know me, I'm kind of rude and honest with you too much, but take it, just take it for what it's worth. Some people view IMGs as a liability. What if this person comes in? What if they're too old? What if they don't get along with the program? What if their culture is different and I can't train them? What if they don't pass step 3? I got a problem. The more of these worries you extinguish by putting together a really good application, you increase your odds dramatically.
That's very true. I mean, especially also mentioned in step 3 is if you fail the exams too, multiple times, then the program sees that as a problem. And therefore, passing step 3 will give you an edge because now the program don't have to worry about you failing step 3 based on previous records and other exams. So that's true. Now, one problem is some candidates rush into step 3 and fail step 3, and that's disastrous. That's why I tell some candidates, unless you have to take it, and if you know 100% you're ready and you're going to pass the test, do not take it during the application season. Even though it's preferable to have information.
And that's a big deal. So on one hand, you can take step 3 to give yourself a good package. That assumes you passed all the steps. If you actually did poor on a step exam, and there's a I see this time and time again, both US and IMG, some kids just don't do well on the step. It's not a normal exam to take, it's standardized, so some people just don't do well. So as an IMG, if you have a lower step score, step 3 is your time to shine. You can show, look, I have an upward trajectory. And the other point about that is, let's say you're applying to IM or applying to family, right? They want to know, okay, if you pass step 3, you already have the foundation to probably pass your IM or family medicine boards. And that's a more high-end concept to understand. The program director who has a residency program, they get evaluated and their program is ranked based on their board pass rate. And that is the seniors who graduate and sit for boards, what percentage of them pass the boards, become board certified, and go on in life. Now, if you can show the program director, look, I may have not done well early on in my step career, but I took step 3, I did a good job, increasing the likelihood that I'm going to pass my boards, and again, get rid of another worry of the program director, I won't hurt your ranking for board pass rate.
That's true.
Right, so that's a subtle point you need to take into account.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's, the more ready you are, the less program have to worry about you doing residency, and that's especially to the IMG pool of candidates. US graduates do have a little bit more leniency. But when it comes to IMGs, they look at every aspect.
It's kind of more, it's intense.
That's
But that's actually a good point. The comparison of IMG to US just on step scores. So if you're a US graduate and you're applying to a program and the program director is looking and saying, you know what, this US candidate didn't do that well, but they still got into a US medical school. So
Yes.
they believe in that because they know what the US medical school is like. They don't know what the international medical schools are like, and that lack of data gives them some degree of anxiety. So again, try to do the best on step, and if you haven't done well, or if you still have, take step 3, get it out of the way, make yourself a stronger package. So that's variable 1, getting your scores in and getting step 3 done when you can. The next thing being what school you came from. You can't change that. You went to whatever medical school you went to, but what you can do is look at your medical school and ask them, okay, where did our graduates go? Right?
Exactly.
That's the number 1 data that I always start with everyone, because you can then reach out to the program.
That's true.
And you can call those people like, hey, you know, I went to whatever school, AUC, you went there and you're at this program, can I talk?
That is true. I mean, this is why we're focused on added features to match a resident. That can make this easier for them. But at this moment, we have other features working out for them where they can make a best selection. And the medical school partner, they need to communicate with the medical schools. Or I think most of the medical school websites do list where their students are. Yeah, so that's a good maybe route to go and focus on these programs. Now, there's some programs maybe even though they have people from your school, your credentials would not match the program requirements. And for that, if you communicate with that person directly, there's a way for you to communicate with. You may have, you know, a connection built
that'll go a long way.
through just a medical school connection this way. So.
Okay, that's a really big point he made. Now, this is how this works. So, I'm at a certain California program, and I get a text message, this happened to me last cycle. Hey man, I'm applying to your specialty. Can you like help me? I'm like, what do you expect? You know, like, what am I gonna do, sit there at the admissions committee and the ranking, like, take that guy. You can't do that. But what you can tell the guy is, okay, you're coming in on interview day, you can share insider info. And that's a useful thing about, you can't always know where all the graduates went, especially if you come in as a PGY 1 and the PGY 3s and 4s that graduated, it's a 3-year gap. And you may have forgotten to talk to them. The website's gonna hopefully connect you with them, so you can reach out. And it's more so in the IMG world. I mean, if you're coming from a school in India, it's not that easy to get that data. And I've learned that not from firsthand, but from every single student I worked with, I'm always like, where did the graduates go to? They're like, it's hard to get that data. I don't know why, but you know, we're putting it together.
Yeah, international schools is kind of difficult to find, but Caribbean schools are much easier. They have a more organized way. But I think your medical school, even if it's overseas, any medical school, maybe have that information, so it's worthy to try and communicate with the school.
All right. Now the next thing, so we already talked about your scores, we talked about you being from whatever school you're from, but the bigger variable now is, how are you making a personal connection? Of everything, all right? This is insanely important, and this is where everyone screws up. Everyone thinks, okay, I'm gonna take my application, I'm gonna write my step scores, I'm gonna sit nice and quiet, put a good personal statement and submit it, and it's all gonna work out. Man, that's crazy! What are you thinking? No, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna get clever, you're gonna think like a person who wants to succeed, and you're gonna say to yourself, how can I make this happen? Here's how you're gonna do it. You're gonna meet people, you're gonna be personal, you're gonna network, you're gonna use common sense, all right? So here's what you're gonna do. You need to make a personal connection with a program in whatever way you can. And I do this a lot, whether it's certain applicants who are even US, who are applying to really competitive programs, or IMGs who are just trying to get into a normally competitive program. It helps so much if you know someone, if you have a personal connection. No one talks about this on YouTube. I don't know why. It's not taboo, it's just common sense. All right, so let's take an example. Let's say that Zach's at a program, he's already, he's one of the staff attendings, nothing fancy, not PD, nothing else. And I say, you know what, this guy graduated from my medical school, maybe I can connect. Or I know a guy who knows him, and I can use him to introduce me. That basic concept no one's really doing. So number one, try to find any social connection to contact a physician at any level at a program you're interested in. Even if I say, okay, my neighbor's cousin was his old friend, I'm going to use that connection, right? Use whatever, that's the point I'm trying to make. And get into contact with someone at the program you're going to try to get into, all right? You've already got a list of schools, just try to pick a few where you're like, man, let me see if I can get a personal connection, and then start talking. Let them know who you are, let them know you're really interested in the program, and say, hey, I have a really simple question. How can I increase my odds of matching? Should I come out for a month? Should I do another rotation? Can I do research? What can I do, right? That's basic. The answer of what you should do really depends on your application. If you have more time, you can do research. If you have more time, you can do another away. But at a basic level, just ask someone who's at the school. They may say, you know what, I know the PD really well. He really likes you if you just do a simple externship. He doesn't want anything more. Or he wants you to come and spend like 6 months doing research, which I've seen some people do as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many routes for you to build that kind of connection. It's you know, a connection is always the most preferable way if you don't have high school.
It's insane.
And unfortunately, a lot of students get intimidated of trying that route, which is
okay. That's a good point. I forgot. I guess I don't get intimidated. Maybe I lost that sense.
So
this is the point.
Some people more aggressive than others, and honestly, there's networks that can help you connect with people from different institutions that you could maybe work with. Like LinkedIn, I think it's one great network. I think every student, I think, should have that kind of connection. It tells you which institutions, where your class or your people from your school have attended, and which institution they're at.
Wait, LinkedIn and Facebook, you know, because you can search by schools pretty easy. You know, that's a good point. So that's the thing. I forgot that people are intimidated and a little bit more quiet. I kind of lost that about myself. You gotta get out of that shell. All right, it's really hard. Okay, so this is what happens. We're sitting at the rank meeting, applications go up on the PowerPoint. We don't know this person. They're from like an IMG school. We've never met them. They never did an externship here. The scores are like whatever. I don't know the letter writers like at all. They're not local. That application's weak. But now, and I had this happen last cycle at my hospital. I had an IMG come and do a month-long rotation. Guess their scores were like whatever. When rank time came around, all the attendings were like, oh yeah, I worked with that guy. Strong kid. Don't worry about the numbers. We've worked with him. And that's the thing that's the biggest variable. Emotional connection and expertise of, you know what, I've worked with this guy for a month. He doesn't complain, he works really hard, he studies, he's strong at presentations. What more do you need? You're essentially doing a mini mock residency internship for them for a month. You can sell anyone as a strong resident.
That's true. I mean, that's what it takes for you to get the first step to take that first step toward the application. I mean, I know that many IMGs have to do a lot more, but with this kind of connection, it could make the process much easier for you to get an interview, and again, for them to remember you during the ranking period.
It's such a big thing. All right, now this is actually a topic that we were talking about before we started the camera, which was IMGs, even if they are doing an away rotation, they don't do all the basic things to make themselves stand out. And that's a problem, right? So what are the basic things you gotta do? All right, when you were on a rotation, sign outs at 7 a.m. What time did you get there?
On time.
Right. I got there 30 minutes early, man.
Right? So, 30 minutes, exactly. They're watching what you're doing in every step of the rotation.
And that's, oh man, you just dropped the golden nugget. Everybody is watching you when you are doing an away.
Exactly.
Whether it's the secretary to the chair of the department, everyone is going to be asked during the ranking, what was your experience with this person?
That is true. I mean, this is how you pave the way to residency, is through rotations. This is one thing that international schools are not doing, is to prepare the candidates as soon as they leave their basic science years, is to what to do next. And actually what's next is more important than anything. And that is gathering good recommendation letters and building connections. And this is what gets candidates into residency, is the recommendation letters and different connections they could build in the program itself.
Now, I wrote about this a little bit in my book, about what do you do on the wards. But this is I don't know why IMG schools, either they don't teach it or maybe it's just a different culture. When it's morning sign up, you get there early. Get there 30 minutes before everyone else. because you know who else is there? The senior of the department.
Exactly.
The senior's always there early because the whole team's on the senior's neck. Right? Like right now I'm senior, like I get there earlier than the intern because the attending's gonna walk in comfortable and they're gonna ask me, how's the service? And I better have run it perfectly.
That's very true.
When you get there 30 minutes early with the senior's like, oh, this kid's here early too. And everyone else is coming in just at time or 5 minutes late. You know, we all have WhatsApp on, like, we're a group and it's like, oh, my car battery's dead. Oh, you woke up late, whatever. You know, so get there early.
That's very true. As I mentioned before, during my rotations, my pediatrics rotations, I intentionally, it was my first rotation after finishing my basic sciences, and I knew the importance of the clinical rotation because this is where my recommendation letters are waiting for me. And I had a team of 6, and I would be the first person to show up on time. And the doctor said, I'm watching you and how you're, just throughout the rotation. So he mentioned that he's watching me, and guess what? At the end of the rotation, I got a recommendation letter that's 2 pages long.
Wow.
That he has so much to say,
Thank
and these kind of experiences do help. I mean, if he was to be in a committee and I'm applying for pediatrics, I'm sure he would have.
Yeah, this kid's great. Yeah. Gotta take him.
So, and every rotation is important. So this is the bottom line: that every rotation you do as a medical student is important for you to build yourself for residency.
Okay, so getting there early is just the basics. Let's give them a few more gold mines before we wrap up this video. I know it's getting long. Don't get tired. Amp it up right now. This is the golden nuggets you don't want to miss. All right, get there early, obviously. Look sharp. Don't be sloppy. People, like the way you are dressed, I mean, I wear scrubs 24/7, but even then, like they're clean, they're neat. As a sub-I or extern, wear a shirt, wear a tie, wear a nice blouse, get yourself ready. Put your alarm for 15 minutes earlier. Like, make yourself look sharp. It's a month of your life. Just try harder. It goes a long way. Look sharp, because when you look good, people think like you have more of your life put together. Even if you don't, and you live in a closet, don't show me that. Look sharp on the day. Get there early, look sharp, and start asking yourself, not how can I make myself look good? That's the wrong question. The right question is, how can I make my team look better? And how can I help my team run better? That's what residency is. It's honestly just a job. I get there, we talk as a team, we do stuff just to take care of patients. And when I have good sub-Is that are already pre-rounding, they've already got all the vitals and stuff printed out and stapled on the table and I don't have to do it, they're already like, you know what, they're leading rounds. The more of the work that you do that is like the intern or the R2 or the R3, the more they're gonna think, this person already gets it. They're already working like a resident, we need to take them. And of course, the basic things everyone tells you. When you're presenting, present strong. If you're not good at presenting, just ask the intern or the senior. Be like, hey, listen, and this is where you gotta be honest with people. Like, open up your heart to the residents. They're gonna have sympathy. Be like, you know what? I really wanna come here. I don't know if I'm the best at presenting. Can I run my presentation by you for 5 minutes? Right? I mean, that's like intimidating to do. It's like you're really putting yourself out there because the senior could be mean to you. But just take the risk because everyone's gonna usually be nice and they'll say, you know what, all right, everyone sit back, 5 minutes, they help you, and then you present, attending's impressed, right? So these are the basic things you gotta do. Look sharp, get there early, be an active member of the team who's helping the team operate better, and ask for help from your seniors and your juniors. They know what you're trying to do, they wanna help you match. They'll get you there. And then the attending's gonna recognize you come rank day, everyone knows who you are, you're right in.
Exactly. I mean, you're building your leadership, your teamwork and dedication. If you show these 3 things on your clinical rotations, that's going to translate to great things later on.
That's true. So. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Zach, thanks for coming on the channel, talking to our guests about your IMG experience. I really hope you guys got something out of this. We try to share as much of the inside pearls that we have. Zach's personal experience, my experience by working with a lot of IMG students and getting them into residency programs. I hope you learned the really important details, and you can also try a resource that can take a lot of burden off your back. All right, you know me, I don't promote anything unless I actually like it myself. And I really like Match a Resident. I work with IMGs every day. I'm not about wasting a month or a half or more trying to get all this list figured out. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Any questions down in the comments below? I read every single one. I heart it, I thumbs it, I try to reply. Let me know what you guys are thinking. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comment section below. And as always, enjoy your studies.
Good luck.
Resident.